Hello, welcome to my show, Expert Talks. Today we have the guest Natassa Gelinas. Thank you, Natassa, for joining. I just wanted to introduce Natassa. Natassa is one of the best friends I met on online when I was actually moving to transitioning into the remote sales space along with my coaching journey. And Natassa has traveled more than 38 countries, and she is basically from Canada, and she was the manager for call center for the remote based work, and also she worked for the retail sales. After having this experience more than 10 years, and then for the past 4 years itself, I think Natassa has crossed more than $2 million in revenue for the companies that she worked for. Natassa is a wonderful human being seeking the spirituality, having her own thoughts about the non-duality, and building her coaching business along with working and traveling. And her coaching business is very unique, helping people come out of this stress, make more money. Hello, friends. Please understand, making more money without stress. Imagine how the world will be if you can make that money. She helps doing that, and she will also share those actual program details by the end of this video. But stay tuned to grasp as much as possible as a marketer, as a traveler, as a sales expert, what we can learn from Natassa. Welcome, Natassa, to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm
you.
doing very well. Namaste. Thank you, everyone that is listening to this. It's an honor to be here. It's a pleasure to be able to share with you. And Chandra, thank you so much for the beautiful introduction.
My pleasure. Thank you. Yeah. So, Natassa, where are you in the world today? Last time when I was talking to you, you were in airport, rushing from some problematic situation to your local place, right? Where were you those days? Tell me that experience. Third flight you got.
That was the I was just landing in Bali, correct? Is that what it was?
No. There is a war going, Palestine, something.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's what. Yeah. Ooh, that was all the way back in October. Yeah, that was quite a little bit more of a stressful airport situation than the one I'm used to.
Sorry to
Yeah,
hear
no,
that.
that was when I was in Israel visiting friends, and then obviously, we all know what happened in Israel that back then in October. So yeah, that was a while ago. That seems like ages because I
That's true. You moved a lot of countries in between.
yeah, exactly. Since then, it's been a long time. But actually, I'm in Bali right now, so I do have the opportunity to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's my first time in Bali, so I've been here for about 2 weeks, I think, more or less. So,
Oh, is it first time in Bali?
yeah, my first time in Bali.
You will sure enjoy the Bali stay because I was there in 2009, and I attended a World HIV/AIDS conference. I presented my scientific papers over there, what my experience of working with children affected by HIV/AIDS and how our program helped the people. I'm glad that you are in Bali, a global country, global place where more than 100 to 120 country people always roam around the Bali morning and night.
Yes, yes, exactly. There's always something going on.
Yeah. Okay. So now let me know. You are call center manager and you worked remotely, right?
Yeah.
And you also worked physical store in the retail store.
Mhm.
And what made you to actually choose to be in the remote sales space? And what
Right.
kind of offers are you on so far?
Yeah, so that's actually a really beautiful question. So I was working in this call center and I really didn't like it. I was really done with it. So I had to manage people and it was kind of like a 9 to 5 job. Even if I was manager, I made my own schedule. I still had to like show up. It was this many hours, was this much pay. Plus, you got commissions on what you sold, but it was nothing. It wasn't like a high ticket. We were selling TENS machines for older people with back pain. Um,
Okay.
and it was like it was like a $5 to $10 commission, depending
Ah,
on how much I was. So it would add up still, it
that's
was great.
okay. Huh.
I got multiple calls. They were only like little 10, 15 minutes. It was call center.
Five
It
to
was
ten
info
dollar
marketing.
commission for each sale.
Yeah. But you also had your
And
base.
what were the products?
This was the like medical devices, so TENS. I don't know if you know
Oh,
what
okay.
TENS is. You put it on your back, or they have them in physiotherapy offices. Anyway, so it wasn't
I
like
got
it was
it.
like a $300 to a $500 sale. So it wasn't, what I mean, it wasn't insane. But that was my first experience with phone sales. And that really did prepare me for the high ticket world. But actually what happened was that it was I remember it was the Lionsgate. It was August 8th. So it was the 8th of the 8th. Um
Okay.
during COVID. So this was 2020, and I was in Rishikesh, actually in India.
Ah,
And yeah, and I was still quite new to spirituality from an Indian perspective, and I guess spirituality in general, you could say. And I was done with this job. I was just like, I'm done with this. I don't want it anymore. I'm like, I really want to change. And I was crying in front of this little altar that I had made. And I was doing Ganesh Japamala practice every day. Om
oh,
Gam Ganapataye
super.
Namaha 108 times. And and then that day I was there with an incense stick and I was crying. I was like, please, Ganesh, please, I want a new job. I can't do this job anymore. I'm so done with
Oh
this.
my God. Okay.
So yeah, so it was really funny. There was a guy that I was following, like kind of like a coach slash little bit influencer guy that I had somehow got into his, marketing funnels and all that. And he was an
Uh-huh.
affiliate with a program that something very similar to the marketing program that I had already done 2 years before. When I realized I
Okay.
was like that, I was like, and at that point I was like, oh, I'm not good at marketing. So I kind of had that story in my head. So I get on this call, not knowing what it was, because I didn't even watch the VSL before getting on the call. I completely forgot I had that call. And then I was like, oh
Okay.
shit, that's right. I booked this call. I just didn't even listen to anything. I just booked the call because I really liked the guy, the influencer that had kind of like funneled me in. And then I was on the call with the closer, which at that point I
Okay.
didn't even know what closing was really. And I was
Okay.
like, it's like, oh, this is one of those marketing courses to do Facebook ads. I was like, bro, I am no good at Facebook ads. Like, it's data analytics. I'm not that. I'm not an introvert. Like, I'm like, no. And I had been asking the universe, I was just like, I just want to sell. I don't want to manage things anymore. I'm done with managing people with like,
Yeah.
they're like not showing up and like hiring and firing people. I was just like, I'm done with, I just want to sell. I'm really good at selling. I just want to
Yeah.
sell. Like, universe, Ganesh. And so I'm on the phone with this guy and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, there's no way I'm buying this product. I was like, there's no way. But I'm like, but you're a salesperson. How do I do what you're doing? And so
Hmm.
the guy's on the sales call with me and he's like, oh, he's like, you want to be a closer? I'm like, well, if you're a closer, sure, I want to be a closer. And it so happened that that company actually did have a program where if you bought their closing training, then they would put you on their calls.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so I was, it was really funny because he was like, oh, this is $1,000. And I looked in my account and I had $1,000. And I was
Hmm.
like, wow, I was like, that's great. I was like, oh, I just need to transfer the money and I'm going to sign up tomorrow. Like, I just need to get it over for my PayPal. And he was like, okay. And I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. And so I paid that $1,000. And then I called a friend and I was like, can you lend me $200 so that I can like have money to survive
Yeah.
until I get my first paycheck? And that's how I started in remote sales. And my very first call as a high ticket closer, it was a sale. And yeah, it was just, for me, it was just so natural. I had been doing
You got
call
the first call closed.
Yeah, it was a close, and I
Yep.
still know the guy. Yeah,
Got it. Super.
he's traveling in a bike around the world now, and he's like working online because that was a course to teach people how to do, like marketing and Facebook ads and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so no, it was my career in sales in high ticket closing just like started like I didn't understand what it was to not close like as soon as I got in for me, because it was just like the call center. They give you a script, and I was
Yes.
like, oh,
Yes.
this is exactly
You
the
are
same. I
well
just got
prepared. You just moved from one room to other room.
literally, and I
talking
was
to a
getting
different
paid
group.
so much more. I was like, this is so good. Like, oh my God, thank you, Ganesh. I
Same,
love
same,
you.
same. So all your prayers to the universe and then Ganesha worked well, so well, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely if you're
Awesome.
stuck, 30 days of Gam Gana Patay Namaha and just watch your life transform. I like
Oh my
swear to God.
God.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. I really loved that. Okay. So that $1,000 thing is a program and also is it something like a mentorship or
Yeah,
it's also a placement guaranteed program or no?
yeah, it
Just a
was. Well, as long as you passed their mock call, right, then, you
mm,
were accepted and you were going to get leads for that same program, right? Which is something that I really suggest if anyone is buying any kind of online course. That was one of the problems with the marketing course that I had purchased previously, is that they were like, oh, for you to get your first clients and to get your first practice in, you have to go and find those clients. But at the time, I
like
was like, yeah, I was like a 21-year-old, and I was like trying to show up to like local businesses and be like, hey, would you like let me like use you as a guinea pig and you just put in the money and I'll do the ads for you? Wanted to
yeah,
freaking do that because it's
yes.
like, come on, of course not. And then I really do stand behind programs that will give you a product or something to at least practice on, kind of like a paid
Mm.
internship kind of, vibe where you can at least, you've at least got the product already there to work
You will
with. So
experience the process.
yeah, exactly. Because for me to go out and to do that on my own, it was really, really difficult. Especially, it being like my very first business experience. I didn't really think that was a very good course, to be honest. The one that I had purchased, their support was just really bad too.
Yeah, got it.
Anyway, for me in
Got
my
it.
situation, I actually know someone that personally that did that same course, and that she would like it changed her life and she loved it. But different people at different places, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
Their
those are,
experiences matter. They come
yeah.
from their own experience and then they
Mm.
actually look from that lens. That's true. Got it.
Yeah, that's
Got
why
it.
it's so important to see if someone's a good fit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's how we got into remote sales. Awesome
Yes.
journey. Yes. I really like you have $1,000 in the bank account and you transferred it and you
Yeah.
asked your friend to survive $200
Yeah.
or whatever the dollars. That means you took entire life into a decision and then try to explore from there. And you did that. What I am guessing, you did not mention, but what I am guessing right now is you did with a leap of faith rather than insecurity.
Yeah. It just felt really right. I was just like, oh my God, this is it. And it was really funny
Wow.
because I had shared it with my friends. It's like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then the one girl, she told me, she's like, oh man, she's like, it's definitely a scam. And $1,000, that's way too much. No, no, no. And I thought about it for a second. I took into consideration her opinion and her point of view. And then I went with it anyway, because obviously it was that day. And I'm really imagine if I would have listened to her, I wouldn't have gotten into high ticket sales. Well, I would never be,
That's true.
living,
Yeah.
maybe I
The
would have,
life
I don't know.
would not be this much. Maybe that's a completely different story would have been.
Right. But remote sales for me in the last 4 years, whatever
Yeah.
um, it's been amazing. Honestly, it's been, I mean, obviously sales is always everything,
Roller
nothing's
coaster
perfect.
ride.
Yeah, roller, there you go. Got it,
Roller
exactly.
coaster
That's what it
ride.
is.
That's
Yeah.
great. So in this roller coaster ride of sales virtually while traveling 30 plus countries, let me know, Natasha, so what in general life, when you visit different places and then talking to different people like hotel people, people in the local cities of those countries, and then people you meet as a buyer, as a seller. Online, you as a seller, and then in offline, you as a buyer, right? So what do you think is the crucial thing to create a trust with someone you are selling to? What exactly you think are so much important to build the rapport and the trust? You can say rapport and trust. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna jump right into the esoteric of it, which I think people are expecting from my background here. But
That's
honestly,
right.
um, if people know it or not, they're aware of energy. Your energy is everything.
Yeah.
And so if you actually care, and you really come into your conversation with an energy of actually caring, and it's not because you're in that situation and you want to make a commission and you want to make money that you don't also care. It's not like one stops the other. It's not like, oh, or I'm here to make commission or I care. No, like they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when you really care, you don't need to learn a strategy or a technique. Yeah, you don't need to like think about like, oh, well, the best way. And I mean, we do have typical things like, again, because I did my background in call center, look, I can give you the structured points. Try to say their name, definitely look them in the eye, give them your undivided attention. You know what I mean? Like right now we're having a conversation. I'm not like over here, like obviously distract, obviously just basic active listening, being
Yep.
with someone literally, and coming in with that energy of really caring. And I'm not like, I'm a very friendly salesperson. There's actually one offer that I was on that was something that was I was told not to be so friendly, and so that offer wasn't for me, and not all
That
offers are for
resonates very easily for you.
yeah. And so for
That
me, I'm
makes cakewalk for you.
yeah, everyone is like imagine that this person that's in front of you is your best friend, or it's your auntie, or it's, you know what I mean? It's like it's someone that you care about. Every single sales call that I get on, I like by default right away they're my best friend, right?
That's the way. That's the
Yeah.
way. That
If you
makes it
frame
natural
it,
and easy. And that takes away all the stress from, oh, I need to be able to close. There is a lot of money they invest for getting marketing and getting these valuable leads. And there is a sector who is actually setting for me, who is spending his life is depending on it. And all that stress, move away and then be natural and then try to see and focus the vibe guy. I really liked you said energy. And I generally say, if your intention is inside is good, is actually a win-win intention. It helps the other person, it helps you. Automatically, how you behave and talk gets communicated. I don't know how, but unconsciously it gets communicated. That's what I tell. And
yeah.
I have experienced this.
Yeah, and I've even had people, I've literally had people that I've sold to that have said to me, they're like, you just sound so happy. I just want whatever you're taking. You know what I mean? Literally. And so that's really sales through leadership, sales through example, sales through just, coming on the call,
Positive
being
influence.
yeah, and of course, I have a figure of authority because I've always sold remote business courses, right? And so people are like, oh, where are you? Oh, well, I'm in India. I'm here. I'm doing that. Oh, I'm in Bali. Oh, I'm, blah, 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 travel around. And so, obviously people are like, wow, that's cool, right? They're like, that's, they want that. So, I mean, that helps as well for me in this, in the industry that I'm in. And I love this industry and I'm very passionate about it. There's one thing that I will do even for free. It's help somebody get out of their 9 to 5, because oh my God, is there anything worse than a prison that pays you? No, like I'm legit, I'm actually like from my heart, I really want people to have this product. I really think it's amazing. You know what I mean? And so that mixed with, this is your best friend. I mean, like, how can you not make sales? Literally.
That's
It's
true.
literally, that's more the question. How can you not sell?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah. So since you said you really wanted to help the people come out of 9 to 5, you really wanted to help the women, especially help the women improve their money situation, come out of the stress. Even if you can also help men, that's a different story, but you are more resonated. And then I have seen your posts about how you can help the women, the girls or the women. When you are on sales calls, especially when you're selling to the woman, what are the critical things that you observe, patterns or the thought processes, especially related to women, that are stopping them to take a decision beyond their comfort zones? What are the patterns that you observed in their buying version, which as a man like me, if at all I get an opportunity in remote sales, when I am on a call with a woman, what should what do you suggest me to take care in my mind?
Yeah.
Being a
I would
man.
I would say that for women, there's two major patterns that I've noticed that I don't think is going to come to a surprise to anyone when I say them. The
Mhm.
first one is not prioritizing herself. Prioritizing. I've had so many conversations with women where it's like, oh, I don't know if I can spend this money on this for myself because, my kids are doing this and, my family this and, like my husband this and, not prioritizing herself. And the second
Mm.
one is not thinking that she's good enough.
Okay.
And those are the two
They
patterns that
think
I've
they are not
noticed.
good enough.
Yeah, yeah. Not being pretty enough, not being creative enough, not being smart enough, not being just generally good enough, just not being enough. Like so many women do not feel that they are enough and that they can do these things just because of society and how we're drilled into our mind these totally unrealistic standards of living and existing as a woman that make
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah, yeah.
no real sense. I would assume it comes from that,
One
but
is
that's
male
really
dominated world, and the second one is suppressing themselves because of the cultures that they are being. Okay.
yeah.
That is actually reminding me my own family members' stories. That's
Yeah.
true. I can relate to that. The second one, especially not being good enough.
Yeah.
I have seen my own family members talking about that. Even though I help others to come out of that kind of thought processes, right? So we are just human, that happens. Okay, great. So when you are selling on, when you are on call, you are taking the calls from the leads that are generated by the marketing team, and
Mm-hmm.
then they schedule the calls on your calendar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there will be a triage call or a setter who actually understands whether this particular person requires the service or product that we are selling, whether they have the money, whether they have the decision making process happening, or they are looking at, actively looking at the possibility of getting into the program, something like that. They will go through that basic qualifiers, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I've been on too many offers that have setters, actually. I've only been on one offer that had setters. The
Okay.
yeah, most of the time it's just kind of like a little questionnaire,
Okay.
and sometimes there's no qualifiers at all,
Okay.
depending on
But
who
still
you.
they get on the call.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Which,
Okay.
obviously as a closer is not great. I didn't like those. I did not like those calls. So,
I
yeah.
understand. So they come from a different background. You need to actually identify the bits and pieces related to the story while actually naturally talking to the story, right? Or talking to the
Yeah.
person.
Sometimes you
Okay.
need to do, I mean, the closing world and the high ticket space has changed a lot in the last 4 or 5 years since I've came into the space. Like to have a triage call, to have a 2 call close, to have,
Yeah.
a setter.
Sophisticated terms have come.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't like a typical thing, 4 years ago, right? Whereas and nowadays it's a lot more, yeah, nowadays it's a lot more typical. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now let me know if you are selling your coaching package.
Hmm.
Imagine you are selling your coaching package. The target group is women, okay, who wanted to move out of 9 to 5 trap of life and then claim their freedom. This is the thing that you, out of your marketing and sales experience and remote sales experience, uh, what do you suggest for any coaches or any trainers or any course creators or a practitioner who wanted to help others? They actually learn a lot from your experience because you come from retail background, you come from sales background, you managed the call center, you worked with the global people, you also were, you have been, and in future also you will buy a lot of things
Yeah.
as a buyer, right? You identified and picked up a lot of communication patterns, buying patterns, selling patterns, and then in the moments of decision making, few things you might have uniquely picked up, which you might have not thought, but it becomes part of your life because you are doing in a natural manner. So now, as a coach, how do you go about marketing? How do you go about sales process? What do you
Hmm.
do?
Okay,
Just
so
step by step, if you can.
yeah,
If you at all you are starting, what is the process?
yeah. So for me, a lot of my people right now, I'm actually setting up a full marketing process right now for
Oh,
um for
for your
a
own thing.
yeah, for my new
Okay.
for my new
Yeah,
program.
it's easy for now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
And so the process is really important before someone comes on a sales call. Because what I like to say is the sales call is like it's like the date,
Actually,
but
a sales call.
yeah, exactly. It's the date, but it's the date that, that you want to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? And so if you meet someone in the bar or you meet them, on Tinder or whatever, and you've just met them and you're like, hey, let's go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got
What,
it.
what are the chances of them actually saying yes, right? Not that many, right?
Yeah,
But if had a few
may not be
days.
the right person also.
Yeah, exactly. Depends. Maybe, depending on, what age group you're aiming for. Maybe 19-year-olds is a little bit different. But in general, you want to have a first date with someone, you want to get to know them, you want to be wooed by them, you want them, to bring you to a nice dinner, and then you want them to, wear nice clothes, and you want to, build a relationship with that person. And then, then you're
Right.
like, okay, let's go the next step. So it's the same thing with your sales and marketing, right?
Yep.
To you don't want to give people, and if you're as a woman, if I'm dating a guy and I feel like that guy is only, dating me because he wants to get in my pants, well, then I'm totally turned off. So if in your sales and marketing, there's any kind of feeling that you're just there to sell to them and to market to them, people don't want that,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah.
turns people off. Right. So you really want to focus always on, the care that you have, like, your actual energy behind it. Like for me, my marketing process it's very chill. It's very much like like I have a podcast, so you can get to know me there. I've got, obviously like my content that I do on Facebook and all of that, and on the social media, Instagram, and I've got, and I talk to people. I give them like free sessions. And no, it's not a free session where it's actually a sales call. No, it's an actual free session,
Hmm.
because that's where I'm at in
You
my business
educate
right
with
now.
the free sessions
Yeah. So
and
it's like
talk to
it's a
people,
free session.
identify the bottlenecks that they are facing, and based on that,
Hmm.
they get more clarity about how you can help them.
Yeah. And then I finish
That's
that
how.
call and I
So
don't,
essentially, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say I finish that free session and I don't pitch them right then and there. I let
Yeah,
them, yes. I
got
like,
it.
and it might be a longer sales process because, this is my own independent business, but I let them digest it. And then afterwards, it's like, hey, do you want to jump on another call? Like a little follow-up, right? And then that's when, I'll get into like pitching and all that. And basically people are like, I've literally had people on a coaching call that, like, there's this one girl that she's like, oh my God, I want you to be my coach. She's like, do you have a program? And I was like, it was literally a friend of a friend. I didn't even expect that at all. I wasn't even, I was literally like, I remember I was doing a punch karma.
Blessed and confused at the same time.
In the what?
Blessed and also confused at the same
Yeah,
time.
exactly. I was like, what? So I get on the call with her. And I was like, oh, let me just show you, some stuff. And as we're talking, I'm coaching her, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, I really want you to be my coach. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, right. So that's the kind of like, that you're doing something right when that happens. So that's
Exactly.
really, It's like, when you come with an open heart and you're really offering to people. Yeah, I don't know if
When
that
you are
answers.
open and then be in the service mindset, in the way
Mhm.
of serving the people, let responses come, we stay calm. That's what,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah. And I mean, it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine. You want to have a structure, you know what I mean? You want to be able to, you want to understand, what your buyer's journey is and all of that. But all of that is like, it's completely, it's irrelevant if you
Hmm.
don't have your energy and your mind and your heart set,
Yeah.
you know, at an aligned place for for your ideal clients, right? And that's really and that's what I coach. That's what I
Yeah.
coach. That's why
Awesome.
I have a coaching program for entrepreneurs. That's why, because so many people in the entrepreneur space are stuck on the masculine side of things, which is, the structure, the how to, you know what I mean? Like what is the actual, what's the buyer's journey? What is it? How many calls do you have with them? How many hours of content are they supposed to watch, before you get them on a call? What's the script? What's this magic script that, the coach is going to give you that closes that more than 60% each lead, and all of that stuff. That's all like the technicalities of it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's good to have that, but so many people coach that and they don't coach on the energetics, and the energetics are probably 80% with and the strategy is probably 20. Honestly, if we go with that 80-20 rule, and so many
Mm.
people miss how important energy is. And then, going through energy, that's going to face your limiting beliefs. It's very confronting for me at the beginning, especially when I was doing high ticket sales, to sell a $2,500 product when I didn't even have that in my bank account.
Mm. Mm.
But do I believe that $2,500 is a lot of money, or is it not a lot of money? So
Mm.
it's going to require you going through a personal
What's
journey.
happening inside of us
Yes.
defines how we relate to the people,
Mm-hmm.
the value that they actually perceive
Yeah.
on that product.
And because I'm the kind of person, like I told you, that was my last $1,000 in my bank account. That was my last $1,000. And I
Mm.
spent and I invested that $1,000 into that program. And it was the best thing I ever did. And so I know, and I'm like, if this is your last dollar that you're investing into this, do
Mm.
it. Because that's what I did. And I know that things worked out, right? If you're sure, if you're not
Mm.
sure, then don't do it, of course, you know what I mean? But if you know that this is going to be profitable and you know that you're going to be able to, to get something out of this, then yes, for me, it only makes sense for you to go and get a loan, to get a credit card, to spend your last dollar. I don't have those things where it's like, oh, well, I don't want, people to put themselves in a bad situation. Yeah, put yourself in a bad situation. That's where we grow. Yeah, spend
Mm.
your
Mm.
last dollar. Of course, go to the bank, get a loan, do something scary. If not, you're never gonna do anything if you don't do that, right? And so because I embody that, and I
Mm.
have embodied that more and more through my journey of being a closer and of being an entrepreneur, I can confidently sit in front of someone and ask them to do that, because I know that the results of those kinds of actions are exponentially fruitful
Yeah.
versus what the scare actually is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growth manifests outside of their comfort zone, and you know that you travel that path, and you actually take the risk of having zero dollars in your account, but still confidently close in the first call itself, and then you built upon, and that's a leap of faith. And you, because you did that, you know what exactly is the journey. So coming back to this masculinity, like structure, technique, strategies, who is the ICP, ideal customer profile, all that stuff. And then feminine structure, like energy, what intention you have, what belief system you have inside, and how are you looking at the world, how are you looking at the people, the approaches towards the people, the thought processes that you embody, the energy that you bring out, you put in the center of your state of mind, all that, the feminine aspects. I really like this balancing these two things, which really help the people evolve, whether it is a buyer, husband, wife, whatever the role that they take, but as a human being, they become better. So when I asked the marketing and sales process, if at all you wanted to sell your sell anything, a new product, say for example, medical device, say for example, it's a coaching package, whatever it is, you are mentioning the process should involve both masculine and feminine elements of it. That's what I see from your experiences and the way that you are putting it, right? So
Yes,
both
exactly.
marketing, both in the sales, try to improve the both masculine and feminine elements of it, so that as a business management process, you may be having the structures and all that stuff, but you may not be thinking spiritual. But somehow I read and I watched the videos, and then I never attended a program on that, but still, if you master your spirituality, you can master your business and life. That's automatic. That's what people say. That's one thing. Second thing is, we are not the human beings experiencing spiritual experience, having spiritual experience. We are the spiritual beings having the human experience. These are the two things that I heard about. Of course, our show is becoming more spiritual, but still it is more relevant. I
Yes.
strongly believe it's relevant. So from that perspective, how do you see spirituality and business, Natassa?
Right. Well, spirituality is everything. There's no such thing as our existence without spirituality. It just depends on how aware and connected and conscious you are of it. And when you're saying this, I almost feel like the way you're saying it is kind of like, oh, the masculine and the feminine, and that feminine is the spiritual side. But actually, this balance is the spirituality of it, because especially my spiritual studies do come a lot from India. They come from, yoga, they come from the Vedas. And so the universe is Shiva and Shakti, right? And so if you just go with that principle of the universe being the duality of the masculine and the feminine, and when we look at hatha yoga, it's just sun and moon coming together, feminine and masculine coming together. Yoga means union. So if you're in union with your process and with everything that we talked about, and you have that balance of of feminine and masculine, right? You have the balance of being structured, but also being like being able to have flexibility, right? If the spirituality is not disconnected from anything. It's just your general energy as well, right? Are you feeling grateful? You know what I mean? Are you feeling resentful to people? Are you in a reactive state? Right? You know what I mean? And then so it depends on what people define spirituality is. For me, spirituality is really just consciousness, awareness, just being connected to not looking at life from like another way of putting it, a kind of a way that people word this is, you have the Newtonian point of view, and then you have like the quantum point of view, right? So you
Yeah.
have the point of view that, humans, like you said, we're machines, you know what I mean? And like, oh, the human mind, I can manipulate the human mind and all of that. But then it's like, well, yeah, that is true, but it's not the whole truth. There is a quantum thing that is going on, right? And
That's
so
the
just
truth from your own little world inside of you, not the quantum of it. Got it.
yeah, to really have a holistic view, basically. What was that your question? I kind of got sidetracked. I forgot what the question was.
No. I was asking, as people say, spirituality, if you understand spirituality, you can do well in the business and also life. And you mentioned that, yes, spirituality is consciousness, and then understanding the duality, and then universal and see, our body, our mind is our world from our perspective, but that our truth may not be the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a quantum field that you are talking about. So
Yeah.
see, have you seen any difference between someone who understands spirituality the way that they do sales, who doesn't know, under they are just human beings, they just completed their education and then got into the job and then got into the family life, got the children, and the only thing that they know is just living like any other human being, and then they die. they never thought about anything related to spirituality or whatever it is. The way those kind of people do these sales, those people little bit conscious about this energy, matter, the connection with the universe, and life and death, all the beyond the death, what will happen. All these people who are aware of these kind of spiritual thoughts, how they approach the sales. It may be a little bit critical, but I'm sure you got the point, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're asking like, what's the
Spiritually aware people, spiritually not aware people, how
Yeah.
how they approach as a seller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to kind of like what I've noticed myself from a general overview is that, you know, the people that aren't spiritually interested or aware or aren't actively, so to say,
Or in
informing
that thought
themselves
process.
yeah, they have a tendency to be a lot more reactive in their sales journey. The lows hit them a little bit harder at the highs. They'll get a big ego trip from the highs, and it's a lot of times people that don't connect with that. I would say most salespeople that I know actually do have some form of spiritual practice. Even getting information about the law of attraction, maybe that's spirituality already. You know what I mean? Like you're in the
Right.
game now.
Yeah.
You're touching it, so it's something that actually I would say most entrepreneurs, almost everyone talks about it, but just in their own way. And again, it depends on what is your definition of the word spirituality. For me, anything that is an awareness or a study or an implementation of any practice that has to do with something more than just the 3D world. As soon as it has to go with your energy and feeling gratitude and working even with the subconscious mind, I wouldn't even consider those things already getting into spirituality. So, but the people that
Yeah.
don't really go deeper, they have a tendency to be the people that that might that it's never enough, right? Those people that get success but they always want more. They're very like egotistical about things. They don't enjoy the journey as much, and it's just like a constant fight. And those people that have negative attitudes, like people that are always like complaining, those tend to be the people that haven't quite deepened their
Look for temporary and then instant results.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing that you'll see anywhere else. People that don't have any spiritual connection, they're just generally less, fulfilled
Yeah.
and happy and satisfied as people that do have a connection with the divine. And when I say the divine, I mean, any connection that you feel is authentic. And that could be through religion, that could be through a personal practice, that could be through however way you want it to be. Generally, people that have some sort of faith and connection to divine are generally, just happier. You know what I mean?
Got it. So I just wanted to know, have you ever had experience of using your spiritual thought process with a critical sales call at the end? They were going through the sales call with you, and then somehow they don't know what they are doing, or suddenly they come up with some objection, which actually, because you understand the dynamics of human nature and the dynamics of the spirituality, you felt like you dealt so well. Is there any experience, something like that?
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's why for me, there's not much of a difference between being a closer and being a coach,
Ah,
because I'm just coaching people to make a decision. And so, there's this one woman,
I really like that.
yeah. And there's a one woman,
Being
for
natural and then, yeah, got it.
Yeah. So she was really afraid. She was really, really afraid. And I was like, okay, well, let's explore that. What is that fear? Where does it come from? What does that fear feel like in your body? Can you describe that fear to me? Right? So we're going into like an
Ah,
actual somatic practice, right? And once we get into
yeah.
somatics, you're touching that, you're touching into metaphysics, right? So what does the fear feel like? Can you describe it? And then we got into that process of her actually connecting to this fear. And you know, what is this fear trying to do, right? What is it trying to protect you of? Do you want this fear? Can we get let go of it? Can you step away from the fear, right? Can we transform it into courage? Because you know, everything is duality, fear and courage. They're the same energies, just perceived differently, right? You know, through the mind. And I coached her through that. And it was a long sales call, I'll tell you that. I think it was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. But at the end, she overcame that fear, right?
Mm.
And that was through
She
really,
might be a completely different person before the
yeah,
call, after the call.
exactly. And that was a really beautiful, demonstration of
Appreciate
how,
that.
you know,
Awesome.
thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was,
Happy to
and
hear.
that's why I love what I do with sales, because it's so much more than sales, right? It's literally so much more
Mm.
than sales. It
It
is,
looks like sales and people develop a negative connotation about it, but actually transforming people if we are really doing it with right
yeah.
energy into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but those
that's
are the
true.
same people that think that money is the root of all evil. And I'm like, honey, the only thing that's evil is your ego. I mean, like, it's just non-duality or duality. Like,
Yeah,
there's no like the whole concept of all of this stuff. It's just the good and bad already. I'm like, go and learn like the basics of Tantra. You'll understand there is no good and bad. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about the real things. So
got it.
yeah.
So now tell me about your course, your coaching program. What is the
Mhm.
name of the program? How much time does it take? Who are the people that you serve? And let me know all the details so that the people who watch this video may really want to get into, especially those who resonate with your work. And
Yeah.
I pray that they get benefit out of it. Yeah, please
100%.
share.
Well, I look at the market, and like I said earlier, I noticed that, you know, there really is a gap in the market of coaches working with the internal while still being grounded in the mechanics, the external, right? So I don't specialize in the external, but because I've got a background in marketing, in sales, in business, you know, I've been doing the online thing for, you know, more than 6 years. I get it. You know what I mean? So I get all of that and I can support through that and I can, you know, give technicalities about sales and all of that. But where I really want to help people is with their energy. So people don't understand how important it is to heal the trauma and to really go in and to really rewire who we are from the inside out, from an energetic level. And so even from a spiritual level. So my program actually it's called Consciously Confident and Rich. And so it's especially geared towards women that are digital entrepreneurs that are either, you know, closers, maybe they're affiliate marketers, maybe they just have like their coaches, they have their own online business. Maybe they've even got like an Amazon drop shipping or something like that. Just, you know, female digital entrepreneurs that, especially that have already explored the external, that have already got the techniques and the strategies, and that, you know, maybe have internal blocks like I'm afraid to post. I don't like myself when I'm on camera, right? You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm,
I keep on doing all these things and I'm not getting any results, or I'm getting results and I'm not feeling satisfied from it, right?
mm.
You
I am
know,
struggling a lot, putting a lot of content, but still it's not going anywhere.
exactly. So a lot of, you know, the doing. So I really work with that side of it. And I actually have 3 steps. So technically it's a 12 week, 12 session program. But, you know, you got your theory and then you got the one-on-one with me. But you know, if it's 3 months, if it's 6 months, like I'm chill. You know what I mean? It's like whatever.
Mm,
You can
yeah,
book sessions, you know, twice a week if that's what you feel, depending on what we're processing, right?
yeah.
Basically the first part of my program is productivity, but conscious productivity. So understanding what's your personality type, what are the, you know, what are the codes that your brain, what are the kind of like, you know, what's the programming that your brain has, really looking in deeply into that, looking into your Ayurvedic body type, understanding, are
Mm,
you a fire type? Are you an air type? Are you an earth type? Right?
mm,
What
mm.
type of person
The
are
five
you?
elements.
Right, exactly. Coming in, seeing who are you? Because all of these productivity hacks, you know, like, oh, like wake up at 5 in the morning and go take a cold shower. That only works for
Mm,
a certain amount of people because it works for this personality type and this body type. Right. So
mm, mm.
that's not, you know, and so I really come in that holistic productivity. So that's a little bit more of the masculine side of
Awesome.
things, right?
This is very, very unique approach. I should say
Well,
this is very unique approach. Yeah.
I'm happy you think so. I think it's so important. And I even because I'm a yoga teacher, it's like, what can we do for breath work? What can we do for yoga, according to you, like what's gonna work for you. And then after that, going into reprogramming. And so, because now we know you, right? Know thyself. So now that you know who you are and what the components of your existence as a human are made of, right? What are your tendencies, what are the patterns? Once you see that, well, now we're going to take that and we're going to either, depending on where you're at, some people have low self-esteem. So we've got to build up that self-esteem. And I don't know if we'll be able to do it in the 112-week program, but building up that self-esteem, building up that ego, and then stripping it away from you.
Got
You
it.
can understand that you can come out of that, right? But you have to have the healthy ego before you can strip it away. So if you're not ready to go into deep spiritual practices of coming into non-duality, if you don't have the confidence to show up on camera and you're afraid of what other people think, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and see, where did that come from, right? What happened in your childhood? Yes, we're going to go into your childhood. We're going to go in and we're going to heal that. Right? We're going to go into culturally seeing what cultural beliefs do you hold, right? What energy is it? Are you carrying any kind of dark energy, right? Let's get a shaman in here. Let's do some pujas. Like, let's clear this shit up. You know what I mean? Like really clearing, reprogramming, really from, the mind, the body, the mind, and the soul. And then the last part of it is, manifestation. So that's really when we're going in and we're studying the chakras. That's when we're understanding how energy flows within the body. What is our manifestation power? How can we ask for help from different spirits, such as, the practice with, the mantra for Ganesh to help, right? Can you tap into a certain deity? Do you have a connection with Shiva, right? Do you have a connection with Lakshmi? You know what I mean? Do you have a connection with, maybe, other gods and goddesses from any other culture, right? So really coming into the manifestation part of things and really coming into that alignment, having the clarity and having, the masculine and the energy and the feminine energies of, manifestation, which is that clarity, but also, that gratitude and those things. So yeah, so it's basically productivity, reprogramming, and then manifestation.
Wow. To be frank, this is the first of its kind, a combination that you picked up from the entire your life journey, and then being a student of a learner and then practitioner, and then putting it together. And it looks very solid program, and
Yeah, well,
very solid program, I believe. I actually authored a book in Telugu language. The place that I live is called Hyderabad in India, South India. And then 2 states in India speak Telugu language. I authored a book in 2013 when I started my freelancing journey, leaving my development work. I was a technical assistant officer, program manager for a large scale HIV/AIDS program, impacting the children affected by HIV. So I left that, and then I started personal development programs because Tony Robbins is playing inside. I was reading a lot of personal development programs and books and all that stuff. I never been to a coach, but I built my own life based on the books and then all the material. Back then, I didn't even have a mobile phone. Forget about thing. So after I got into the job, then I purchased the first mobile. That was, those days it was not. In 2004 May, I got the first job, and then in 2004 June or July, I think I purchased my first mobile phone. Anyway, in those days, no videos, only books. So I authored a book called How to Achieve Excellence. It's a Telugu language. This is me back then with a French cut face.
Looking good, Chandra, looking good.
So what happened in this book, the concept is excellence, how to achieve excellence. Achieve Excellence is the book name in the Telugu language. How I defined excellence is going beyond success and failure and celebrate the life.
100%.
And for that, the basic understanding that human beings should have is, you have body and you have mind and you have life energy. These are the only 3 resources for any human being on this planet. Body and mind body and mind are the ones you if body if mind leaves you, human energy leaves you, both body and mind are not called. Say for example, if I die right now, people say keep the body aside, they don't call Chandra aside. So fundamentally, life energy defines everything about what we have. So that's where I really resonate with the work that you are doing with the energies and I really like the 5 elements, uh, body type, understanding productivity, reprogramming, and manifestation using a masculine feminine thing. So if somebody wants to get into the program, what is the process? Do you want me to share any of your links to them, or connect? You can share after this video is over. I can give all the details to your program, or the links that you share I can keep in the YouTube and Facebook wherever I share this video. So I'm really glad that we discussed it today. So let me know if somebody wanted to get into the remote sales. What do you suggest in short? Or what do you suggest? How they should prepare?
Yeah. Someone that wants to get into remote sales.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, they can really, like, the number one thing that I suggest is to really be prepared for the roller coaster, as we called it, and to really just, get into the network and to start understanding and to, really work on your own confidence and to not listen too much of the buzz. Don't listen to what people are saying, because when I came into remote sales, I didn't know that it was hard. Because I didn't know it was hard, it was really easy for me, And if you're gonna get into remote sales, ask yourself,
it will be very critical, it will be very hard. That very awareness makes it hard.
Yeah, exactly. And being like, oh, it's and having that attachment to a sale and all of that, and I would say really, if you're looking to get into remote sales, really sit down with yourself and really see, is this in alignment with who you are, right? Do you really like having conversations with people over and over and over again, right? Before all of that, is this really what you want to do, right? Is every single cell of your body so sure that this is the best thing for you? So if you've got any doubts, you're like, oh, maybe I want to do remote sales, maybe I want to do my business, why are you getting into remote sales, right? Are you looking for easy money? Are you looking, you know what I mean? What are you, and as long as and I'm not saying that anything's bad, one is bad or the other, but just really checking in with yourself, because if you go in with that clarity and that certainty, there's no way you can fail anyway. It's just
I
that.
really like that.
Yeah. But I
So
mean,
understand who you are and whether it is actually aligned with what you wanted to become.
And then start looking at the industry. What industry do you want to be in? What could you actually sell that, like I said, that you're actually passionate about, right? I tried selling in the fitness and it was okay. It wasn't bad, but I didn't enjoy it. I don't care about fitness. I'm not someone, I don't it's not for me.
The energy is not coming out, feeling genuine and happy. So you cannot make joyful conversation.
Yeah. And for me, to go through a manipulative process, because yes, sales is a manipulative process. It's not a bad or good thing. It's just, it is what it is. That's what sales is. Coaching is as well, right? Every conversation is a manipulative process in a way.
That's true.
But how do you feel? For me, manipulating people into buying a weight loss program, I didn't like that, because it wasn't in alignment with my values. I believe in loving yourself unconditionally, not having a conversation with someone and, getting them to feel like shit because they weigh 50 pounds more and, guilt tripping them into buying a fitness program. You know what I mean? That's not, I didn't resonate with that, but I'm super happy to manipulate someone into them investing in them having a business, because I know that entrepreneurship is the way to go. Right.
Yeah.
So it's, really look at what are you comfortable manipulating people to do, right? And then,
that's true.
and in remote sales, I know people that sell for high ticket programs that literally help people stop drinking alcohol. right? There are
De-addiction.
coaches out there. Yeah, there are programs out there that literally help people get over their addictions, help
Yeah.
people get over their anxiety, right?
Pornography addiction, alcohol de-addiction.
Yeah, so check into what industry do you want to be in, right? You know what I mean? And don't expect it to be like, right away, easy money. Like for me, in my case, it was really, really profitable right away. I look, if you want to be profitable right away, probably pick up your japa mala and like start chanting for Ganesh, you know what I mean? But don't expect it necessarily, right? So yeah, just, really come into it, with clarity, and that will
Yeah,
help a lot.
that clarity about yourself, your future, and how it is resonating with you from inside, not just for the sake of making money or for the sake of getting opportunity or for the sake of saying, oh, my values are aligned. Really check your values. That's what you are
Yes,
saying.
exactly.
Awesome. Great. In fact, this is not only the solution for remote sales, for your life. I think for those who are watching this video, this is how we can evolve as a better human beings and then remove all this stress. We don't have to become a new person to fit into that particular role if we actually check these things. Thank you so much. This is so valuable. Thank you very much, Natassa, for being on the show and then sharing your expertise from the sales, marketing, traveling, and also remote sales, and more of a spiritual seeker and a spiritual learner, practitioner, how they look at the sales and what is the impact of spirituality in real sales. This is awesome. I wish you all the best for your future, and I hope you travel a lot like you spent in 2019 to 20 in India. If you visit India, let us do a show, not like this, but in the same room, we will have another show.
Of course, I'll definitely let you know.
Thank you. Have a great
Amazing.
day.
Thank you, Chandra. Bye.